Good morning. Welcome back. It's going to be another amazing day here in Japan. I'm out for another little stroll, but this time I'm back at Mount Mitake, but I'm at the base of it, and I'm going to explore the riverbed here. I don't know if you call it a gorge, but it's mossy like I like, and a lot of trees, and there's a lot of Spanish moss or lichen hanging off the trees. So depending on how lush it is, it's still pretty early in the spring. I may be able to come away with something, kind of include the lichen. There's no real plan today. I just wanted to get out for a little hike. In the back of my mind, though, I do know that the cherry blossoms are starting to bloom up higher in the mountain. They've already started blooming lower down where I live, but slowly but surely it's working its way up the mountain as the temperature rises in the area. So I'm gonna check some of that out because I saw a few on the way in that look like there's some potential there. But again, there's no real plan today, and to be honest, that's when I probably come away with some of my better images, when I have no plan. And I'm sure that all revolves around expectation management and getting too hyped about something that, you know, probably isn't going to work out. So if I just kind of go out and kind of let it come to me, it seems like yeah, it's my better stuff. So come along today. We'll go take a little trip through here, and I may come away with something from here, and if I do, you'll be seeing that stuff next. And yeah, let's go. Walking along this river, I found this lichen and these two trees just catching a little bit of light there on the base of it. As you can see, as the sun kind of comes through, because it's kind of cloudy, this lichen will glow. And I'll show you on the back of the camera, but it's really neat. And those two trees kind of set in the middle of it, so I'm kind of framing it around that bright lichen. So I got to really make sure not to clip any of that, but I'll show you on the back of the camera. Okay, once again, showing you from the camera what I'm looking at here. So as the light comes through, I mean, it's still glowing a little bit, but the lichen all down through here and around the frame and some in the background there, but mostly here. And these trees are catching some soft light right in here and right in here. So I've kind of framed these two in the center, surrounded by the lichen, and as the light comes through, man, it'll really glow. The one thing I got to pay attention to is two things. I'm paying attention to the edges. In particular, I want to keep this limb in because it kind of leads your eye around. Make sure I'm not clipping any of that at the top. Of course, this is video from the camera, so it's cropped in a little. And just paying attention to my edges here. But also, so as this light comes in, I got to make sure that I'm not clipping any of it. I'll make sure there's still detail in there. So I'm bracketing this shot to make sure I got details in the back and catching all the details here, and I'm exposing to the right as far as I can without blowing any of that out. That's the composition. It looks pretty nice right now. Just, I mean, it was one of those obvious things when I was walking by. I was like, oh man, I got to get after that. So if it turns out any good, whether it does or not, I'll show you, and then we'll see if I made any mistakes. All right. Okay, yeah, so with this photo, I really wanted to pay attention to my edges on this, and I wanted to make sure I didn't blow out any of the highlights. When the sun was coming in, I failed at this before. When the sun hits this lichen or this Spanish style moss, it can really blow out if you're not careful. So I did bracket this just to make sure I had enough images to take from. I ended up using one, and I think it turned out quite well. If you notice, the second tree on the left is a little darker than probably what I would like. There was some intermittent light, and if I just had a little bit more patience, I probably could have had a little more light on that tree to kind of bring it out a little more. But all in all, I think it turned out quite well. I just shot a scene here, but I had to work pretty fast. You can see the lights getting pretty harsh. But basically, this lichen kind of covered and made a kind of a funnel, and there was a tree and some nice green, that's probably moss on the ground there that kind of lead into where the tree's at. So I didn't really have time to vlog it. So what I'll do is I'll put that picture up now, and I'll talk you through my thought process and why I went after it. Okay, sometimes it all comes together, and I think for me this is the photo of the day from this trip. It's probably one of my better photos I've taken in a while. You know, really thinking through my composition, but to be honest with you, it was the light. Everything about this image was all about the light. It guided me to where I needed to be. It's what initially caught my eye when I noticed this scene, and the rest was up to me to kind of highlight that and not jack it up. So it's pretty obvious I framed that tree in the center using the light, and I wanted to try to make sure I created enough depth in this image and instead of letting it just be flat. I focus stacked this, making sure that because these top limbs that kind of arch over the top were a little closer, blended two photos together to make this one image, and I didn't blow anything out. Honestly, I quite like it. I knew in the back of the camera I was probably going to do a 1-to-1 crop on this because there was a lot of stuff on the outside that didn't need to be in the picture. But I think this is, I really like it, to be honest with you. It's one of my better images. How you like the van? You know, my thought process on this when I got this was, you know, I don't want something that I could beat and bang around. Not other vehicles, but when you take it out on some of these back roads in Japan, it's pretty sketchy. And this thing's small enough but big enough to let me sleep in it and get around here all right. My only wish was it was four-wheel drive. That would be my only thing I would change, which will probably be my next vehicle. I don't know. But this is going to finish up for here in this valley. I'm going to ease out. I'm going to drink this coffee and I'm going to ease out and go look for some cherry blossom trees to see where they're at here. Like I said before, you know, they're starting to bloom their way up to the mountain as the temperature starts to rise here in Japan for spring. And I saw some on the way in that looked pretty promising, so we'll check it out and see what's going on, and if there's more, then there'll be more. If not, then this could be the end of the video. So stay tuned. Sorry about the noise There's I'm around the side of the road, but this is one of the locations when I was coming in, I saw in the dark, and I thought maybe it was going to turn out good. And I remember this from last year, which goes to show that you got to remember things, you know, kind of stored away in the back of your memory, that way you can revisit them. And this is one of those locations, and it's just, it's pretty damn awesome. Check this out. So I'm hand holding right now, but I'm including some of this in the foreground, and I'm going to use this tree over here, and there's this greener bush over here, or tree on the left, and I'm putting the sakura tree, the cherry blossom tree, right in the center, and it's fabulous. It's full bloom right now, and I mean, it looks good on the back of the camera. Looks really neat. This time of year, I mean, you can see they're really blooming all over the place. So pretty awesome. I'll do some more driving around to try to find something, and then I'll talk you through my photo too as well. That way, kind of how I was, what I was thinking, what my thought process was. Didn't really have a lot of time because, as you can see, I'm right here on the side of the road. So jumped out, hand hold, fire off a few shots. Pretty happy about this one. All right, I'll show you that photo now. Okay, as I talked about in the video, this turned out quite well. It was all from memory from last year that I had recalled driving in this morning, that there was a sakura tree that set out here. Last year when I saw it, it was already almost over with, the color was. So I kind of filed that in the back of my mind yesterday or the other day when I went in here to take some photos, and decided to make this a stop on my way out to check it. And it's a peak color, so I'll be returning probably here tomorrow or the next day to try to work on a better composition. Not that this one's that bad. I think there's something else there that can really highlight this and add a little more balance to the photo, because it's a little heavy on the right side for me. I do have a 4x5 image of just the tree alone that I'll probably work on, but I wanted to highlight the surrounding color around the tree too as well. It's not a bad photo. I think it can be balanced a little better though. Okay, it's gonna wrap up today's video. Pretty good day. Really felt pretty good. I've kind of gotten those creative juices back. It was slow going, you know. I think I hadn't been out in a while, you know, and a couple weeks ago I started getting back out into it, and I think once you spend a little bit of time away, it's kind of hard to get those juices flowing. And in the last couple of weeks, it's starting to come on, and I'm feeling pretty good right now. And it doesn't hurt when everything's starting to get more life into it, especially when those green mosses and the woodland that I like so much. And then also this time of year, the sakura cherry blossoms are blooming, and as you saw when I left the river gorge there that I had been photographing earlier in the morning, that one sakura tree, which I had vaguely remembered from last year, but what really got me when I was coming in, there was a little bit of light this morning, just a little bit, and I saw that tree, which I thought, okay, I think that's that cherry blossom tree. I wonder if it's bloomed or not. And sure enough, it was on full display. And man, I think that's one of my better shots for a while. I don't typically like to have man-made structures in it. There's cherry blossoms all over the place. You know, there's some right here next to me. I'll show you. But finding a place that doesn't have man-made structures in it, it's kind of hard, especially with the cherry blossoms. For me, I mean, there's probably a ton of them out there, but it's just me spending more time in Japan and learning areas and finding those places out. But I think the big takeaway for me today was And what aided me was, all right, I remembered that one cherry blossom tree being there, and then going back and revisiting it. And the same with that River Valley Gorge. You know, I knew that lichen was there. I just didn't know what kind of shape it would be in coming out of the winter, and it was perfect. So I think I came away with a few shots that I'm going to be happy with. As long as I did my part, as long as everything's in focus and all that. So again, that's going to wrap up today's video. Remember to like and subscribe, and there'll be more content coming. All right, I'll see you in the next video.